And we're live. Welcome to NoChaNoMa, Simon's living room. And as you can see, I'm not alone. I am alone in my living room. It's just me and a bottle of wine. But all the way from sunny Yamaguchi
Not so sunny now.
It's not. It's dark. It's
and cold.
One and only Englanese. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Oh, Peppo's here. Peppo. Hey,
hello,
Peppo.
Peppo 67. Hello.
Yeah. And yes, Englanese will be explaining. He will explaining the name, where he comes from, his blood type, all that kind of stuff as we go on. But
why we exist?
Yes, it'll be a philosophical show tonight, folks. So grab yourself a drink and settle down. Dame. But yes, I should perhaps sort of explain why Englanese is here and what the connection is between myself and Englanese. A while ago, several years in fact, I was sort of watching YouTube videos, and one came up about Yamaguchi, and I thought, at the time I had a lady friend in Yamaguchi, and I thought, I'll click on that and. Not that I will see the lady friend in the video, but I mean there may be something interesting. And
let's hope not.
and I saw a chap wobbling on his bike down a road in Yamaguchi, telling us what he was seeing, and I was so impressed that I subscribed and commented and explained and got a reply even, and so began a budding friendship, which culminated actually in on my last visit to Japan. I was actually managed to get one train further, and I'm going to tell the story.
Go ahead. Yes, my fault. It's all my fault.
He said, meet me at Ube Station. I thought, okay, yeah, Ube Station, Google Maps, Ube Station, got on the train, got my ticket. Even on the train from where I was traveling from, a lady left her bag on the platform, and I very kindly brought it to her attention and gave it to her, and she thanked me profusely in Japanese. And then I got on the train, a nice little yellow train that chugged away around the coastline of Yamaguchi, stopping at all the places with like school children getting on and off, and I was quite happy. And I got off at Ube, what I thought was Ube. It said Ube on the side.
It was Ube. That was my fault.
It was Ube, and Englanese was not there. I thought, well, yeah, he's on the way. And he said he was on the way. I'm just cycling up there now. He said, and then I said, well, I still can't see you. Looking down the road. And it turned out that there are two Ubes. And I was in I'd got off at the wrong station. But it all turned out nicely.
Well, let me jump in there and say it wasn't Ube. Sorry, you were at Ube.
I wasn't.
But the trains I took were not from Ube. They were always to other, Asa, for example, or Onoda. And it was Ube Shinkawa that I meant to say. So when you said that, I wanna just point this out there. When you said that, I did a Rambo, right? I went full on Rambo, and I actually cycled.
Yes.
Within 20 minutes, my butt off all the way from there to, I mean, I don't know how many miles that is, but it was enough to get a sweat on. Let's put it that way. And I was in a suit. So
yes, he was. Yeah. If you saw that photograph in the advert, that's I was wearing a suit. I was wearing a suit because that's what I do in Japan, and he was wearing a suit because he had to.
Yeah, I was working that day, but but I mean, I got there, and it was really. You're the first YouTuber that I've ever met.
Oh well,
very good. Yeah.
I hope it gave a good impression of YouTubers in general.
Well, you were wearing a suit, so it's not bad.
I remember, yes, we said, what can we see in Uber? And there wasn't a great deal, but you were hungry, and we discovered a ramen place.
The ramen shop, yeah, the ramen place, yeah.
Yeah, it was just
and the guy, it wasn't even open.
Oh, it was just about to close or something. Yes, it was.
I remember specifically, it wasn't open, but this is the countryside for you folks, which we'll get into later. But this is the countryside. It wasn't open, but they saw two Englishmen, right, standing outside, going, and they were like, oh, we're not open, but hey, come in. And then they didn't have beer. Remember, we wanted a beer, so they didn't have beer. But what they did was they cracked open a can and just gave it us. That's the sort of hospitality.
They cooked ramen specially for us, and then gave us a free beer. So unfortunately, I've forgotten the name of the ramen shop, but
I don't really visit that area. Actually, I haven't been to that area since the last time we went, because I don't really go to that area.
Yeah, there's
there's no reason
to go there.
I mean, it's just down the road. I can go there in 20 minutes, but I never go there.
Jazz Samurai here. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Jazz. Hello.
Yes, so I mean that was it. Turned out, and then we wandered around, sort of looking for scenic spots to take Instagram pictures. So, me, Dibble. Hello, Dibble.
Hey, Dibble. Hello.
Yeah.
Are you from England, Dibble, by any chance? Hello.
It's a slight possibility that sort of
I thought so.
southeast direction. Yes. Yeah. But yes, we wandered around and had a good chat, and I haven't been back since.
Hopefully, I mean, I was asked by my students in Shikoku, so elementary school, do you think the Tokyo Olympics will happen this year? And I thought, well, no. And they asked me why. So I said, well, Japan is actually not so bad. I mean, it's up and down, but the problem is obviously the Olympics. People are coming from all around the world, and most places are not so good. So I unfortunately I can't go back to England to see my family, and obviously people, you can't come here and whatnot. And if I did come back, I don't know. I probably have to spend some time in quarantine. I don't know the rules right now, but it's just I don't think it's that bad right now. I think I probably could just come home, but it's just a bit.
Not if you've been to Britain. No, certainly not. No, I don't think so. I think they would sort of like be in hazmat suits and poke you with sticks into a cage or something.
Maybe, maybe. But. Oh, from London. Oh, that's good. Oh, well, I hope everything. I mean, London's pretty bad right now, right?
Tier 4. I think the whole country is in Tier 4 now, so it doesn't matter. So everybody's in the same boat there. Yes, but yes, you were saying. So the kids were like, oh, but the Prime Minister said,
as they do. But I don't really know what to say about the Corona thing.
I mean, it's that's the. But so we hung out and took pictures. But what sort of what struck me was that it was quite far out, as you say, in Naka, and most of my Japanese sort of friends, and certainly the YouTube ones. All end up kind of seem to be in the cities, which was is understandable, But how did you end up? This is your story. It's story time, everybody. How did Englanese end up in the far west of Japan, which is not noted for being a popular destination? Let's face it.
It's certainly not a popular destination. In fact. I mean, well, first of all, just a romantic story. I kidnapped my wife, and I brought. Okay, when I was in England, I met my wife. She, obviously Japanese. She went to Liverpool University, and she was there for a year. She had visited England before that as well, like a homestay thing, and. Basically, we met actually on Hello Talk, the language app. So when I was in school, we had two options, just two. So French or German. Now, my grandmother is German. So I wanted to do German. However, the class was full, so I had to do French.
Ah.
So it's like first come, first served kind of thing. So I did that, and I didn't like French. I at the time, you're young. I was like 15, 16, whatever, 14, and I was like, why do I need French? When am I going to go to France? So I didn't really care about it, and the teacher was horrible until. I mean, no, seriously, she was really just a horrible woman until she had a baby. And then that moment she brought the baby into the classroom and everyone was like, well, I suppose you say in Japanese, oh, kawaii, kawaii. She just changed. She was absolutely lovely. But until then, she was not so great. So that was like less than a year before I was going to take the test and get a grade. But later on in life, by the way, we actually had 1 week of Japanese. Both the French and the class, both the French and the German class. So we had 1 week of Japanese. It was completely random. I didn't.
Yeah,
I was just like, whatever, I learned konnichiwa, or actually the teacher at the time was like konnichiwa, and I was like, that doesn't sound right, but okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so years down the line, I thought, you know what? I spent years learning that language, but I don't remember anything apart from a basic self-introduction. So I want to sort of get back on it, I want to, kind of like muscle memory, but with your brain. Let's try and learn something. So I did that, and I got on Hello Talk.
For French?
For French, not for Japanese. But I also thought, well, the Japanese language was actually more interesting than the French one, in my opinion. So I sort of
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu. So I just basically, put that on there on the profile, and this woman contacted me and said hello, and and at first it was like an instant connection. It wasn't like a romantic thing. It was more just like a friendship thing. And
so she was wanting to learn French as well, presumably. Oh
no,
you
basically
Japanese. You were interested in Japanese.
The reason why she was on there was because she was planning to come to live in England, like for long term, and she wanted to have some connections. She already had friends here. She's actually got more friends in England than I have, to be honest with you. But that's the sad thing. But yeah,
having a quick swig.
Yeah, I'm gonna have one in a minute. But basically, she contacted me and was just like, hey, I'm just looking for a friend and I'm going to Liverpool. And I was like, well, my family's from Liverpool. So my mother, and actually my great grandmother used to babysit Ringo Starr from the Beatles.
Oh wow, cool! There we are. Just Samurai, did you hear that? we have fame in our ranks.
No, I wouldn't say I'm famous, but yeah, she used to babysit him. And for anyone that wants to know, he was a little bugger as a child, apparently.
Yeah. All right.
He wasn't a good child. He was not good.
Artistic temperament, yes.
But yeah, he basically, we ended up connecting, and that's the end of it, really. There's not really
she got more than she bargained for when she went on Hello Talk, and you did as well, presumably.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I can't. Let's just say I didn't predict that one.
Yeah.
And now there's a little one running around. In fact, he's right below me, asleep downstairs. And I often think to myself, how did this even happen? I never would have imagined I'd be in this position, 4 years ago. I'm not someone who thought about, oh, I want to go live in Japan. That's not.
You said you had no interest in Japan particularly at all until you met.
Not necessarily an interest, but an intention. I didn't have an intention to go live in Japan, but I think I had an interest. I think I had an interest in Japan as much as the average person. History and samurai, ninja. But it wasn't anything like, oh,
burning passion. For
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So what? I mean, just getting back to Mrs. Englanese. I mean, she says you said she went to Liverpool University.
Yeah.
But when I've on a few occasions, if you watch Englanese's videos, you can hear Mrs. Englanese sometimes in the background, and she has the most lovely English voice that you would not, without the slightest trace of a Japanese accent, and it does not sound like she's from Liverpool or anything like that. You know, she doesn't talk like that.
Yeah.
You know, she talks really nice, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's very Oxford.
Like my cousins are from Liverpool, and I can tell you now, it's like she's never been from Liverpool, you know.
I know.
But yeah, I don't know how she got that.
Yes, it's very curious. I mean, and very nice too. I mean, if you ever watch his videos and you hear a very sort of plummy British accent, lady's voice in the background, that's Mrs. Englanese.
By the way, I have to remind myself. She said, "Say hello to you" before I came on the stream. So
thank you. Yeah, well,
she knows
back.
who you are.
Yeah. One day I shall make it to the proper Ube, and we shall meet up, or meet all of you, the whole family. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I actually, if you do come back, I would recommend not coming to that Ube. I'll just pick you up because I've got my own car. I actually bought my own car here, so I'll just pick you up from wherever. You know. You like to take the Shinkansen, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, generally, getting from Tokyo to the west of Japan, you could take a plane, or you could take a bus, which is horrendous, or you could take the Shinkansen. And I bought a Japan rail pass, so I thought I'd better use it. Yes, and it's nice going on the Shinkansen. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. I mean, I've been on the Shinkansen. It is nice. But I would recommend, if you're just coming for practical purposes, it's actually cheaper and quicker just to come via Haneda to Ube. And I could literally just pick you up. Ube Airport. I could literally, it literally takes about an hour and 20 minutes, and I can just pick you up from there. And it's a lot cheaper as well.
Right.
Even with a rail pass. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
I'll definitely consider that the next visit, whenever that shall be. I'm hoping
soon.
Yeah,
hopefully soon. Yeah.
Yeah. So the end of the year, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we get to the next topic, let's just read some of these comments. Sorry, just to, because otherwise I know I'm going to forget some things. Yeah, I have visited Western Japan with Vieira. Yeah, it's very lovely. It's very lovely, and very much, I don't want to say underappreciated, because that might be a bit too far, but not many people go there. Do you know what I mean? Like, not many people go to this part of Japan. So, for example, if you're a foreigner, if you're just visiting, whatever, to Japan as a tourist, you usually go to like Tokyo, Kyoto, maybe Nara, or, you know, or go to Aomori for whatever reasons. But you don't really think about visiting Shimane or Yamaguchi or something. Obviously, Hiroshima is a big one.
Yeah, I mean, that's about as far west as most people end up going. Or Nagasaki, maybe Nagasaki, sort of.
Yeah, Nagasaki, because the historical, the historical aspect of that, yeah. But I would recommend. It's the thing is, it's really difficult. Like, I want to say, like, please go to somewhere like Shimane, but you need a car to do that.
Yes.
So it's really difficult.
That's kind of like that's north. It's like the sort of up a bit, isn't it? Sort of, it's not on the Tokaido, like Shinkansen main line. Because I was like investigating places to go. I thought, well, I've always been to this, and I shall try and go. You know, I always like to combine it with going to places, and then maybe if I go here, and I thought, well, there's, no, wait a minute, Google Maps, train lines, no, it's very awkward.
Yeah, that's it.
Tomo's asking if you've been to Shikoku, or whether I don't know if he's asking me or asking somebody in comments, but I've not been to Shikoku. The nearest I've been to Shikoku is Onamichi, which is sort of across the other side of the water from there, on the Hiroshima prefecture. But have you ever been to Shikoku?
No, actually, one of my family members, my wife, my family members now, but she lives in Shikoku, and we were planning to go this year. So I would have been to Shikoku by now, like a few months ago, but obviously because of a certain virus, we couldn't go. And if we did go, well, actually, technically, we could have gone, but we have our own school. So if we went to that island, because we would have had to go on by Shinkansen, we would have had to cancel the classes for a month.
Oh,
and
right.
obviously that's a lot of money, like, because it was an agreement with the parents, you know, if anyone goes outside of the prefecture, we have to cancel. So it is what it is. But yeah, so I would have gone, but no, in the future I'll definitely go. I'll have no choice. Yeah. And I'm sorry, this by the way is my son's artwork. Yeah, he ripped my face off. So I've been putting cream on it, but it's not gone for the stream, I'm afraid.
Yes, you said yes. It might have gone by some, but no.
Yeah,
You
it's not,
you didn't raid Mrs. Englanese's makeup bag then, obviously. No.
Give it no, unfortunately not. Give it a week. Yeah.
Cobra T is here. Hello, Cobra T.
Hello.
And it's getting up. It's very early where Cobra T is, so it's much appreciated.
Where is she?
She's in California. So
California.
quite early.
California love. Yeah. Good job.
There you go. My friend sings.
Not very good, but I do my best.
Yes, I noticed you in your karaoke. You overdubbed your karaoke video, and there was no singing.
Yeah, for reasons, you know, I don't want to traumatize anyone. So yeah, it wouldn't have been good.
All right, Meadable says he went as far south as Naha in a 3-month-long trip. Wow.
Oh, nice. Oh, it's 3:50 a.m. and I'm getting close to going to bed.
Well,
getting close. I'm at bed. I'm in bed at 9 p.m. usually.
Cobra T is one tough cookie.
Definitely, yeah. Respect, absolute respect. So while we're actually talking, before you move on to the next topic, I want to ask the audience where they've been, and not necessarily Japan. It can be anywhere, but where have you been? Because I love to travel, you see, and I think I've been to like 14 countries, or sorry, wow. 16 countries in my life. I just want to know where you've been. That's just a little side topic thing, but while we're talking, because obviously, you know, we can't read the comments all the time. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Jazz Samurai will now reel off a long list.
Oh, nice, good job. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, and Tomo, of course, has been to. Tomo loves the UK, so she's been to the UK.
Nice. Tomo, where have you been in the UK? Please tell me.
A waxworks museum, I seem to remember.
And, that's London, I think, or Watford or something.
Yeah. Watford, yes. Yes, both Englanese and I are both from north of the Watford Gap, so we have something in common there.
Yes, we're the commoners.
She's been to Bath. Do you mean Bath the town, or you're in the Bath? No, it's Bath the town.
Bath the town.
And the Cotswolds. Oh, well, yes.
Oh, Cotswolds, yeah. I like the Cotswolds, yeah.
All right. Jazz Samurai has trumped you there with 20 countries.
I will catch up. I'll catch up.
Yes, there is a slight age difference as well. So, I mean, you know, you're all right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's pretty expensive. Give me 15 years and then we'll carry on this conversation. Yeah, I'll come back to you.
Simon NoChaNoMa, 15 years later. God, is he still going? Cobra T's been to a few other states and Canada and Mexico, and just into Mexico, just like you stepped over the sort of fence and put your foot back over and said, "There, I've been to Mexico."
Nice.
The Peak District, yes, the Peak District. Yes.
That was 35 minutes from my home when I used to live in England. Yeah, I could driving, obviously.
The Black Country. No, but is it also the Black Country? No.
The Black Country. I've heard of that. What is that? That's a nickname for something.
The Peak District because of all the potteries and everything, and the smoke and.
Yeah. It's for some. The mines. Maybe the mines. The coal mines.
Tom has been to Korea. Yes, Korea. Yeah.
Yeah.
California. I went to, Thomas. I've been to more places than I have.
California.
I've been to France, to Italy, to Tobago,
Obviously Japan.
Germany, Switzerland, Holland. That's fairly easy. I just have to sort of drive for 2 hours, and I'm in one of 3 different countries.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Europe. You can add those to your list and just by driving for a while. So.
Yeah, I've seen the motorways of Germany.
Nice. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you earlier. What were you going to say?
Yes, we were going to sort of go into sort of Inaka life as
okay.
sort of like the vicissitudes. That's a long word, isn't it? The vicissitudes of Inaka life, or the pleasures, perhaps even.
Yeah, well, well, it's like whether it's city life or countryside life. It's you have your negatives and your positives. Well, where do I start? So, I mean,
so when you came to Japan, I mean, sort of, you presumably you researched, because you said when you realized, oh dear, I'm going to have to end up living in Japan. You like got all the books out of the library on Japan, and found that the section on Yamaguchi was like 2 paragraphs, sort of thing. And or did you sort of like yeah.
So, but what happened was, when I realized I was about to come to Japan, or when it was on the cards, so to speak, I started researching, obviously, as you do, online. So I didn't have time to go to my library, or my local library, should I say, didn't have anything on Japan other than Japanese insects, stuff like that. Actually, when I came back from Japan for my visit, I went to the local holiday place where you can exchange money. What's the word? Anyway, sorry, my English is gone. But I went there and I wanted to say, I said to them, I said, I want to exchange 70,000 yen, okay, into pounds. And they were like, what's yen? That's like, it's Japanese yen. And they were like, what? Oh, I've never seen this before. So I gave them 7 ichiman yen. Ichiman yen, so 10,000 yen. So it's ichiman yen, ichiman yen, and they were like, what? Oh, this is really nice, isn't it? And I was like, yeah.
Yes, can you change it?
Can you change it for me? And they were like, oh yeah, okay. So they did the the conversion. Obviously they charge you a little bit, but then I got the money back. And I was like, okay, now I know I'm screwed when it comes to information around here. So I just went online and I came across YouTubers like Softy Popper or Kurt Bell. I came across give me a
break man.
Give me a break man. Yeah, give me a I think it was called Give Me a Flake Man back then. I came across who was it? Man. There are so many random Michaela or something.
Oh yeah,
actually, YouTube, and there were a lot of YouTubers like Charla in Japan as well, and Michaela, who I didn't really. I mean, I respected their quality of the video because what they were doing was great. That it was good quality, but I wasn't really interested in that, because they were like vending machines and cowies,
dangos,
I wasn't very interested in that sort of stuff. So I was after things that I thought could impact, or not impact, but help me basically in terms of understanding what life is like with
what you were going to be sort of putting yourself in for, sort of thing.
That's right. Yeah, basically. And so, for example, I would say my number one was Kurt Bell, Softy Popper. He was always interested in nature and that, and just showing you, even in these small clips, these short clips, this is this about Japan, and this is this, etc., etc. And then he'd do like a 2.5 hour video of him just walking around the Inaka. And I knew that I was going to live in the Inaka. So I used to watch that, and that really influenced me in terms of, first of all, understanding what I was getting into. And it actually made me a bit excited because that's my thing. That's what I would, if I was going to make a video in the UK, that's what I would do.
You're going to the
You know?
countryside, so, yeah.
Yeah, because I actually, even though I was in the city of Derby, I lived on the very outside of the city. I've never lived ever in my life in the city. It's always been outside. So I've always been close to the countryside. So that's the sort of thing I would do. And that's always been my passion. I love animals and I love nature. So yeah, that really, that sort of,
that helped you sort of like crystallized sort of, okay, I'm going to the Anaka, but it's okay. it's going to be okay.
Yeah. In fact, I was actually excited for it because, well, they have more countryside here than they do in the UK. Let's be honest. So I was like, yeah, okay, let's go. I'm no problem, you know. And also, as this is actually quite important for anyone that is going to move to Japan, with the intent of staying here long term. Okay, if you're just here short term, then it doesn't really matter. But the crime rate, the healthcare, the access to, for example, apartments, and obviously your work is very, very important, obviously. So you want to just take all these very serious aspects of life into account before you move anywhere and before you do anything. And what I found was, like, now, especially, I mean, not taking coronavirus into account, okay, because it's kind of changed a lot of things for a lot of people, but it's better to live here to raise a family. It's better to live here to raise a family. If I was single, I could live anywhere, to be honest with you. I could, being in the UK wouldn't be any different really to living here. I mean, actually, it'd probably be better because I have my friends and family there. But to be honest with you, if you're going to raise a family and you're going to be serious about this, then to be honest with you, Japan is definitely a better place to live right now, and probably will be for a while. So yeah, I would, and of course I've come across, like, people like yourself, and your community here, really good people, really lovely people, just people who are just genuine, and it really does. I'm not a person who feels like I need people, right here, in my face. Like, I really, I'm very happy with my life right now, and I'm really appreciated to everyone out there who, and I'm not just talking about people on the stream, but my friends who for example, on my PlayStation over there, I literally talk to my friends on the PlayStation, and I'm happy with that, especially in this time. So yeah. Oh, Simon, I can actually see you. You're live. I can see you. You're not froze.
Oh, right. Because there was some kind of, like, you froze for a second, and then you turned it towards the PlayStation and turned back, and there we are. Because we were having this trouble. I'll just explain to the viewers. We were having this. Well, I did a sort of test hangout with Englanese, so just to make sure everything was working properly. And apparently, I froze with a look of despondency on my face, and all he saw was my frozen, despondent face, and could hear me perfectly. And we were desperately worried that the audience would also get this effect. But it turns out that the private replay worked all right. So presumably everybody is seeing us moving in real time and hearing us in real time. It's only Englanese that was seeing me frozen. Yeah,
it's my internet. Probably.
So you're like that too, Cobra-T. You freeze in despondency. No. No, yes. Well, like, being quite happy with. Yes, me too. I mean, I live in Belgium, and all my friends live elsewhere, all around the world. Like you guys in the comments, like Englanese, and my interactions, especially in English, consist of mostly of this or on my phone. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. As long as that keeps carrying on.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's I think some people do sort of need more attention. You know, it's as a human being, but I'm perfectly, you know, I love meetups and stuff. I love interacting with people. But I think one of the things about when moving to Japan, and I won't mention their names, but I know, well, I knew a few Jets who were here in my local area. There were only, well, there's actually one in my city, but there's one in the next city. The other city in Ube, which I mentioned earlier, there's about 15 because it's a big city. But basically, a lot of complaints of them is they don't have any interaction with people. You know, they can basically, they're lonely. Long story short, and I mean that's obviously sad, but that's one
They
thing.
themselves are saying this. The sort of the Jets themselves are
Yeah,
sort of.
they were telling me this. I mean,
Mm,
I I have a family, right? So I can't exactly go around every other night, you
yeah.
know. And I don't hang out with foreigners hardly ever. Like, and not because they're foreigners, but just because I don't have time to do that, you know. And there was a couple of people last year who were really weird, who I just wanted to avoid. But you know, no lie, they were. Yeah, I wish them the best, but they were quite strange. But the fact is that you can get lonely here. You can get very lonely. But I was lucky because obviously I have a wife and
Family and sort of like yes. Did you? That's something that would be interested in. When you moved there, obviously
mm,
you moved and you had your wife and the wife's family and the wife's
mm,
friends, presumably.
mm.
But have you made friends with sort of anybody of your own bat, as it were, there since?
Oh yeah, definitely,
Mm,
yeah. Um, I mean, a few Japanese friends,
mm,
and well, I'd say if I'm being realistic, maybe one foreign friend
mm,
slash work partner. You know, he has become a good friend.
mm,
He's a really nice guy, Canadian guy.
mhm,
But to be honest with you, I mean, when I was in England, I only had like 5 good friends. I would rather have 5 really good friends than 100 associates. You know,
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean. That's just me. Uh, you know, so yeah, two well, two good Japanese friends. One Japanese friend who I would say is a friend,
Mm,
and you know, the Canadian guy is a business partner and a friend, but a very good friend.
mm.
You know, I really appreciate what he's been here like 10 years before I
All
was.
right.
So
So
he's,
yeah,
you know,
it's good to have a
um,
sort of like somebody with a good background knowledge. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So he's a good guy, and yeah, I really just think it, my I never get lonely basically.
Yeah.
Even if I haven't actually spoke to the a couple of the Japanese friends that I have for nearly a year because of the coronavirus thing. You know, I spoke to them
Mm,
by messaging, but I've never
yeah.
visited them,
Mm,
and that's okay. Like, I'm not one to get upset about that. I don't really. It is what it is. But
mm,
there are people, and this is what I want to put out there. There are people who would really feel lonely in a foreign country when
mm.
they can't speak to anybody. So
Yes, of course.
even without the virus, that
Mm,
happens a lot.
mm,
And so I just want to sort of, from what I've seen, like the Jets and some people on Interact that I've
mm.
known that have come here, just be careful of that because I mean, I see people really, you know, in the
Go
low.
down. Yeah.
Yeah. So just be careful of that. But
Uh,
yeah.
just summarize asking what is JET? It's
Oh,
a
J
Japanese English teacher. Yeah.
Japanese English teaching program
Mm,
something. It's a
yeah.
government thing. Yeah, if you just put
Yeah.
it in Google, you'll find it out. You
Yeah.
know.
Sort of mostly sort of Western young Western people go there or go onto that program and go to teach English in Japan. It's slightly one of the more sort of reputable and more thorough avenues for doing that. Yeah.
Most people actually, this is how Inaka, where I live, right? This is how inaccurate it is. Most people are actually Filipino or Indonesian or something like that. They're not from the West. Yeah, they do just hire Filipinos and whatever. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You know, their English is fine, but they don't hire like usually people from the UK or something like that, or America or whatever.
So they haven't got the budget.
Well, I don't know about the budget. I think they just sort of send them there because the thing is about this prefecture, especially where I am now. From let's just say coronavirus didn't exist, in about 25 minutes from my door now to the airport, Ube Airport, and then flying directly to Tokyo. So I could be from my doorstep to Tokyo in about 2 hours. About 2 hours. Fukuoka, 2 hours or less. It depends on if I take the toll road. Hiroshima, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Once again, depending on if I take the toll road. So it's actually a very convenient location, but and it's really cheap to live.
Yes, it's certainly sort of like a lot less expensive than Tokyo, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, massively. There's no comparison. Yeah.
And speaking of Tokyo, I mean, if you look on Englanese's channel, there's a couple of videos showing it's like Country Boy goes to Tokyo kind of thing.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but you've no urge really to even though it's within 2 hours, you don't feel the urge to sort of go and hit the town.
No, not really. I mean, there are places that I still want to see in Tokyo. But let's put it this way: I worked in Tokyo for just over a week. It was 8 days altogether, and I think on about the third day, I just wanted to come back to Yamaguchi. I'm not a city guy. I'm not a city. I mean, you saw the hotel room, right? I think you commented on the video years ago. This is like more than 2 years ago, and I mean, I liked it. I'm not saying it's like a theme park. To me, it's like a theme park. So, do you really want to live in Disneyland? Not really. You want to visit Disneyland? Yeah, sure, no problem. So that's how I feel like about Tokyo and any big city, Osaka, Sapporo, Fukuoka, whatever. But yeah, it's an interesting place.
And I mean, what I like about Tokyo and big cities in general is that, I mean, obviously in the countryside, if you get on your bike, there's things to do, and if you're into activities, there's always like something going on locally that you could get into. But in the sense of like wandering around the town, for example, and just coming across interesting sites or parks or whatever, then I think places like Tokyo, that's what's got it for me. You can walk around there and keep walking and keep seeing, and when I was in Yamaguchi, for example, I went to Hofu and I stayed in Hofu for a couple of days. And after about the first day, I'd done Hofu, sort of thing, So there's that to it as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
there are a lot of places obviously to go in Tokyo. In fact, my friend and I, an English friend, when I was working in Tokyo, I was working with him in IT. So after we finished work, which is about 5 o'clock, we, got ready at the hotel. It was midsummer, by the way. So I told him, don't come in trousers. And he came in trousers and he's sweating his ass off. All just absolutely ridiculous. I was like, what are you doing, man? So I actually lent him some shorts and a t-shirt and we just went out. And we walked from Shinagawa. So anyone that knows Tokyo, you'll know how long of a walk this is, right? From Shinagawa all the way through like Ebisu and Shibuya. We went through Shibuya Crossing and we went all the way up to what's it called, Shinjuku, or what's the the red light district area.
Shinjuku. I've got
And Roppongi as well. Roppongi.
Oh yeah.
And then actually we got into this place in Roppongi, and my friend who is with the IT company, he knows a lot about Bitcoin, and actually we went into a this is completely random, but we went into a restaurant, or not a restaurant, but a bar slash restaurant, and there was a Bitcoin meeting, an international Bitcoin meeting. So my friend was loving it. I'm just sitting there drinking beer going, what the hell are these guys talking about? But he was loving it.
Yeah.
And it was a great time. It was a great time. I just couldn't see myself living in that environment though. I do need the mountains. I need nature around me, but I understand exactly where you're coming from though, because I want to let's not make this all about me. I want to know about you, Simon. I want to know about what attracted you to Japan and why you do what you do.
I mean, like you back in England, sort of. There's not a great deal of information about Japan. There was no campaigns back in the day from Japan saying, Japan is cool, go to Japan. There was just some rusty Datsuns driving around the streets, and you could buy like Sony Walkmans and Panasonic tellies, and they come from Japan, and
I see, yeah.
And I'd watch Tora, and and stuff on the, it was just war films and transistor radios and rusty cars. That's my, for years and years until late adulthood, and then I think I've told this loads of times, but a rockabilly punk band caught my attention. All women, all Japanese, and I thought, this is rather bizarre. This is but cool, and that sort of took me down a rabbit hole. Really, I made friends with the YouTuber who had interviewed them when I was trying to investigate whether they were still going, and they were, and he'd interviewed them and shot their latest show. So I subscribed to him, and he was a Mexican guy who'd moved to Japan because of a Japanese wife who he'd met in America, and they were living in Tokyo, and he was making videos, and then I discovered. What Tokyo looked like. That's what it looks like. It's quite cool. And then I discovered Softy Papa, Kurt Bell, because I wanted to know what the Japanese countryside looked like. And then I discovered all the JVloggers, like you were saying. And then what crystallized it really was my actress friend. When I sort of became friends with the actress from Shogun, and contacted her, and she said, if you come to Japan, I'll take you to dinner. So that was large inspiration and to do that. But also prior to that, I'd started following all the JVloggers and whatnot, and becoming more and more interested, and hooked up with a couple of guys, a Canadian and Australian my age, who were also interested, and we started a show. And that got us more in touch with
Robert and so on.
Robert and Dean, and we got to that sort of set the ball rolling really, and we all planned.
Three old guys, is it? Three old
dudes.
That's it. Yeah.
And sort of the as I say, the thing with the actress crystallized it for me. We were planning on as three guys, sort of think, we'll all go to Japan, we'll coordinate, and that was just sort of a pie in the sky idea, until I contacted this actress, and she said, I'll take you to dinner, and I said, all right, guys, I'm going now.
See ya.
Bye.
Actually, that reminds me. I mean, I don't know if you remember this. This is going back, but it was those days, because it was you, Dean, Robert on the three old dudes, and there was Give Me a Flake Man. It was like what do you say, you have many people in the chat. It was like a big.
Oh yes, we were on their show once, and they were on ours.
Yeah, but there was you. There was Give Me a Flake Man or Flake Man, whatever, and then there was
Hiko Simon. sort of
maybe, but
New Zealand.
I'm thinking of Softy Popper. Softy Popper was on there, and it was around the time when Softy Popper was actually about to leave. So that was about 2013 or 14.
Yes, that would be it. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then everyone, and I remember, he actually gave a really good speech about something. I can't really remember what it was, but I was like, it was kind of sad, really, because I was like, obviously it's sad to see him going, but that felt to me like the time when what you call the JVlog community was really alive. It was alive. Like people.
It was. Yes, it was a kind of a. That was
compared to
like that.
now.
Yeah. Now it's all fairly disparate and disconnected, unfortunately. I mean, that was one of the things that what made Robert and Dean and I want to go, was to meet like the other JVloggers and the people that have been on our show and whose shows we've been on and so on, and whose videos we watched. And it was like, seemed like it was all seemed to be happening. Every year there was a YouTube meetup in Yoyogi Park, and there was the
Hanami thing,
the Hanami thing, and then in September there was also a JVlog thing in that Give Me a Flake Man and Hiko Simon organized somewhere in some bar in Tokyo, and we thought, yeah, we'll go to that, we'll get to that, and we never did. Even when I went, I never did go. I met them. Obviously not Kurt Bell, because he'd left by then, but the others I met, and so on. And that's kind of, and then I and then various circumstances early on, after I'd been invited by the actress, I also met this lady in Yamaguchi, which also was a motivation to go. I mean, I didn't meet her there. I met her a bit online, and then met her in real life in Yamaguchi. But nothing came of that, unfortunately. But that was another.
Oh, Hofu? Was it
Hofu? Yeah.
Hofu,
yeah. So so that was my, and it's and I've now a long established friends there. And as I was saying before, my best friend in the Onbashi is still sort of one of the main motivating factors for me to keep on with my interest in Japan. I mean, I'm not so grabbing. I say that I for my birthday next week, I've got books given to me by my mother and my sister that I specially asked for, which are about Japan. So I was just about to say that I no longer sort of like garner all, but still it's still there. It's still sort of like a Night Riders girl. Hello.
Oh, hello.
All right. This is two insomniac friends from the West Coast.
I'm glad you can make it.
Night Riders girl. This is my friend Englanese from Yamaguchi in Japan. This is Night Riders girl.
I do recognize the name from your stream. Yeah.
Yes, I'm responsible for causing sleep apnea in California.
I don't know what to say to that.
I'm slipping back into old dudes mode. I'm sorry. It's like years of a habit.
An achievement is an achievement. Let's just say that.
Yes.
An achievement is an achievement. But yeah, I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad all these names actually, because when I visit, obviously your streams, whether you're doing it alone or with guests, I do recognize literally all the names.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully, most of them recognize you. So, it's
yeah.
So people
I watch, but I don't comment often.
Yeah.
So actually, I remember when you were in England in the Lake District.
Yeah.
You were live streaming from the top of a hill or something. I thought you were on a bench or something. It's a beautiful scenery, and I put it on the lives. I connected my phone with the TV, and it was on the big TV, and all my Japanese family were watching it.
Oh, right.
They didn't have a clue what you were saying, but they were liking it because my mother-in-law loves the Lake District. So I was like, yeah, that's the Lake District. That's the Lake District. And she's like, what? Nande? So,
oh well, yeah. She'll have to when they can. She'll have to come over. It's very popular with the Japanese. Yes.
and the Cotswolds. The Cotswolds in the Lake District.
Yes, on the
But I always try to tell them you should go to the Peak District. It's just as good. But they're like, what's the Peak District?
Yeah. Or
So,
the Yorkshire Dales, or or
mm.
the Oxfordshire Downs, or South Downs. Yeah.
It's kind of sad, really, because when I ask my students, it's like a shogako, chugako, so elementary school or junior high school. I always ask them, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Mm.
And they always say like, oh, I want to go to Hawaii, I want to go to New York,
Mm.
or all these like obvious places that you'd go to.
Mm.
Like I want to go there as well, but like
Mm.
where do you want to go
Mm.
that really interests you? And the thing is, and I mean this in the greatest respect, but Japanese youth don't really have a lot of they can't really think for themselves that much. Like, for example, I could simply ask them,
Mm.
what do you like? And they'll be like,
Mm.
and that's been happening for years,
Mm.
and it is the culture. But when I sort of say to them, okay, I want, for example, I want to go to Nepal
Mm.
because I want to see Mount Everest, not
Mhm.
climb, but I want to see.
Yeah.
And then all
Just,
of a sudden, they're like, oh yeah, I want to go to Nani Nani. I want to go to Nani Nani. It clicks with them,
yeah.
so they understand that. But if you ask them that sort of question, what do you like? They
Mm.
don't understand really what you're saying. So
Mm.
that's yeah. As a teacher, it's a bit frustrating,
Mm.
but it can, if you just give it a little push,
Mm.
they're really good with that.
So, audience, what do you like?
Yeah. Where do you want to go?
Where do you want to go on your holidays?
Yeah. Sorry, I went off on one a bit there, but
That's all
I
right. It's
thought
all
it
right.
needs to be said.
All right. Phil's saying, I know I don't need to say this, but I learned that in Japan, if you say you like something, that might make them different, so they can't honestly answer. So if I like I like Marmite, and everybody goes around, what?
Oh yeah, you get the whole that's what they do. But basically, I think, and this isn't from me, I won't say who it's from, but I think it's not just society. Well, in a way, it's from society, but it's from the parents. They often, they have a lot of power here. So if the teacher, for example, if there's bullying in a classroom, the teacher finds it difficult to control that, because if the parent finds out, that the teacher has disciplined the child for this and whatever, and found out there was bullying in the classroom, and it doesn't matter if it's them their student doing the bullying, their child doing the bullying. If they found out there is bullying in the classroom, the teacher can get fired. Like, I'm not
All
even
right.
joking. That is a real thing, and that's why the teachers find they're a bit hesitant to discipline, and that's I'm not in the position to discipline children. So if I was, then let's just say some ass would have been whooped. I'm not, most of the kids in my school, the vast majority of them, 99% of them, are absolutely brilliant. They're absolutely lovely kids, absolutely wonderful, absolutely, I can't praise them enough. But some of them, just that 1% sort of thing is like, be quiet, sit down, stop messing with this student, otherwise you're out of the classroom, like, get out sort of thing. Like in England, it's a totally different thing. If you're messing about in the classroom, you're told to get out, and if you don't, I'll kick you out, literally. So yeah, it's a bit different here. And yeah, as a teacher, sometimes I do feel like it should be more disciplined, but it's not my, and
Responsibility.
this is important to note. it's not my position to do so. So if you
Yeah,
are in
sort of
ALT,
hamstrung, basically. Yeah.
yeah, just don't do anything. Let the teacher do what they do. Don't waste your time. It's not gonna help you. Just let them get on with it. You know.
There you are. There's sound advice from England. If you're going to Japan, just let them get on with it.
Seriously, like literally, that's the best
Yeah.
thing. Let them get on with it. Just
Yeah.
don't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, I mean, when you're not teaching, sort of when
Mm.
you're relaxing, do you find there's a difference? Do you do outside of the classroom, sort of people more sort of like relaxed, open? You know, thinking of the uchi soto and all that business.
Do you mean outside of school?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, massively. I mean, if we're talking, let's compare the city to the countryside. Yeah, massively. There's no question.
Mm.
I feel so much more comfortable with people in the countryside than I did in the city when I was in the city. Whether I'm visiting or when I was working or whatever, I feel very comfortable here. Even late at night, you know, like like I said, I got pulled over. I told you before, I got pulled over by the police.
Yeah.
Not pulled over. I was sitting in a car park, but the police approached me and they asked me. I was completely comfortable, and they were fine. And yeah, just it's a very relaxed environment. I'll say that. Very relaxed environment.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I mean, it's difficult because I mean, obviously I did not interact too much with the populations in the countryside when I was there. It was more, you know, I was on my own, and you know, but you know, they say that you know, that city people could be cold and that Tokyo people could be cold, but I found it just the same in the countryside as in Tokyo. Certainly, the could just be the omotenashi that the people in the shops and everything and so on like, but they seem friendly, you know, and in both camps, city and countryside. You know.
I think yeah, I'm on board with what you're saying. My personal experience would be, for example, in the countryside, if you're in a convenience store, for example, I mean, we've all been to a convenience store if you've been in Japan, right? You step off a plane and you're in a Lawson, you know? So,
Yeah.
But I think for example, in the countryside, like down the road, my Lawson that I go to, I will go there and they're always, you know, Shamasen, and they're really polite and they'll help you whatever you want to do. But when I was in Tokyo, in Shinagawa, my hotel was across the street. They were just imagine someone who is incredibly bored, and I understand. Like, I'm not saying that why wouldn't they be bored, but I asked them like for example, in the countryside, you go to a konbini and you buy a pasta, a bento. Okay, so a lunchbox, basically a bento, and you give them the bento, and they ask you, "Do you want me to heat it up?" And you're like, you know, onegaishimasu. And so they heat it up. So in Tokyo, I was like, I bought this bento, and they just give it me back cold, and I was like,
you missed something.
yeah, can you heat it up? And they were like, oh, and literally they just went, and they pointed to like the 7 microwaves in the corner, and I'm like, oh, right, okay, I get it. So I went and did it myself. I actually overheated that because those microwaves are seriously powered, but the fact is that they didn't
take the
say
extra.
anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the difference between. I understand that they're busy and it's Tokyo and there are a lot of people, but to me that's just an excuse. Like, in a Japanese way of thinking, that's an excuse. You shouldn't do that. You should be polite. You should explain everything. That's your job. You get paid to do that. So do it. And to me, I just felt like, well,
you've been shortchanged
coming from the countryside, you know, I felt like, well, hold on a minute. Go and heat my meal up. You know what I mean? That's what I'm paying for. But at the same time, you know, I can't really complain because I went to Burger King when I went to England, and that wasn't good. Let's put it that way.
Yes. I mean, there's a world of difference, really, isn't there?
yeah. So yeah, there's some middle ground there. It is what it is. I can't complain.
No. So in all, to sum everything up, to round everything up, that actually it's been a very good move. I mean, you have to say this because your family is watching. They're moving to Japan.
Watching, it's okay.
Okay. They might watch afterwards. Hello.
Maybe let's just keep it secret.
Yeah, but yes, Japan for you has been, a good chapter in your life, or is currently a good chapter. Yeah. Oh,
Definitely.
Right.
Especially with the current goings on, I'm in a much better position than people like my friends and family in England, for example. Yeah, definitely.
Oh. Well, I'm going to have to round it up there, I'm afraid. Englanese. It's come to that time.
Thank you very much.
But, it's been really nice to see you. Yeah.
Sorry, I've been blabbing on for a while.
That's fine. That's fine. It saves me. But I would like the audience to thank the audience for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And for interacting with us. And hopefully Englanese will be in comments with you all next week, perhaps. We shall see.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any guests for next week?
Not next week specifically, because it's still January, and Eric Surf 6 is on the cards, but that's February. I'm not quite sure when in February, so I have to wait and see for next week. I have to sort of prepare that, but we shall see. Yes, thank you. It could be a sort of late night, burning the candles at both ends kind of thing, but yeah. Okay. Well, with that, I would like to say thank you all for joining. And
thank you all. Thank you very much. I see the comments, so thank you very much for your support, and I wish you all well. Stay safe.
Right. Okay. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.